Alright, today we got the Evo and it needs some things done to it. Now this thing is dirty right now. What I'm gonna do is do like a rinseless wash probably. But a friend is trying to sell it and has some notable things like the mirrors, you can tell, are just totally faded, oxidized. So we're gonna bring that back. The handles, again, look at the difference. It's like pink compared to red, and it could be a whole lot of factors. But most of the time, it's because of the sun beating down. There's no protection, so there's like no wax on it. Have a look at the wheels. Headlights need to be addressed for sure. They're not as crisp as they could be. And then the engine bay. But I'm going to show you guys how you guys can use our products to, make this thing looking good again. And yeah, backside. But we got some of the camera. We got the light set up, filming in 4K, so you guys can really see up close and personal what it looks like to use our products. So we're going to be addressing this mirror first, right here. And to clean it off, I'm just going to use Absolute. This is all-purpose cleaner. It's not going to add any waxes or any type of protection, so we don't want that. So we're going to end up polishing it. So we're just going to give it a good little cleaning. You want to try and make sure you get everywhere because you're going to be polishing it. And if you're picking up, debris on your polisher, you're going to end up scratching it because that debris is going to be on the pad and it's going to scour back onto it. But we do have a little bit of touch up on here. I'm going to come in so you guys can see this. So we're going to try to avoid that area as much as possible. I don't even know why there's touch up. It doesn't look that deep of a scratch to begin with. A little black mark. I'm going to get the 3-inch or the 4-inch polisher, the Rupes, and we're going to get going. So before we want to start polishing it, we're going to use Absolute, and we're going to use this clay bar, a little bit of it, and we're going to remove the contamination off the surface. Again, if you start polishing the car and you have leftover contaminants on it, it's possible that it might go up onto the pad. And the contamination you can't see, this is what the clay bar is taking off right now. Okay, so if you can't see the contamination and it goes onto your pad, you're eventually just going to scour the paint back up. Now when you do this, you don't want to use a lot of pressure. You want to be very easy. If you're doing the whole car, you want to keep kneading the clay. So what you would do is just you would take your hand and you would just bunch it up and flatten it out again to reveal a new surface. Or you could just turn it over or whatever. But the idea is to keep switching it up so you're not rubbing contamination back onto your paint and thus scratching it. So we got that. I'm going to take a microfiber, dry it, then I'm going to pull out the machine. You guys are going to see what happens. Tools we're going to be using are Revive finishing polish. This is going to help cut that oxidation. We're using our amethyst towel, super plush, has no edge. Okay, you can machine wash it. Anyway, it's heavy, it's big, it can hold a lot of product, and super soft, which is the most important. You don't want to be scouring it. And then we're going to be using our Rupes, the Bigfoot Mini. I believe this is a 3-inch, and I have a 4-inch Rupes pad on it, the polishing pad, the yellow one. Love this pad. Always shake Revive at the beginning to get the product loose. Already pre-shook it. And it's pretty easy to warm up these pads. What you do is you place a little bit on there and you run the machine on 1 for about 20 seconds. But we're not going to really need to do that because we're not really correcting the paint at this point. We're just trying to get the color back out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on speed 4. And you're going to use a little bit of pressure and you're going to go slow. We're going to watch this. on the speed a little bit. I'm just gonna go slow and kind of jewel it out. And try and stop the machine when it's on the car. We're gonna come here and buff it off. Now this appears to be single stage. I don't know if these will be replaced or what or how it's working, but I have some color on the pad which tells me that the mirrors are single stage. I haven't tried to polish the paint yet, but oh man, that's a huge difference from what it was. It was almost pink. So that's the color of the mirror now. And this is basically what it was before. See that difference? So wow, that worked really well. And for you, what you guys wondering why I didn't tape this up, it's pretty oxidized. All the trim around, I mean, you can see. So I wasn't too worried about taping it up. I'm gonna put shadow on it for now. All right, now I'm gonna show you what it sounds like when a car needs to be clayed. This is clean, right? We just cleaned it. Now we're gonna rub our hand against it and you're gonna hear it, how loud it is. Now when you clay by the car, the actual clay is gonna come and pick up the embedded contaminants in the paint. You cannot see it most of the time. And what that does is it brings it up to the clay bar, and then what you're going to want to do is knead the clay bar again, so you're giving it a fresh new surface. If you put the contaminants up into the clay bar and you keep rubbing it to the surface, it's typically going to scour the paint a little bit. So that's what you want to watch out for when doing that. You want to always make sure you add a lot of lubrication. For this demonstration, we're using Rapid Seal and obviously a clay bar, so I can show you how this works. Now we're going to just do this little panel here. You need to make sure you have a lot of lubricity. You can use shampoo or whatever. Doesn't really matter. I don't really like using Rapid Seal because it has a sealant in it, but you're going to end up polishing it away when you have the machine on it. So you're just going to go back and forth, barely any pressure. Then when you get to like a new section, hear this sound starting to go away? You don't really hear it too much anymore. You're going to flip it over and continue to work on it. Again, little pressure. You're going to hear some noise because you're rubbing something against it. But let's say if we're working to a new section, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of crumble in your hand, get a new spot, and then use your palms or your fingers to flatten it. Does that make sense? You want to try and get it as flat as possible. You're going to spray again and continue to work. Now the reason why I don't like using also Rapid Seal is because it's a waste of product when you can just use shampoo. I mean, they say that shampoo can kind of dull the clay bar, like it can wear it out faster. But in my opinion, you don't want to use clay bar on too many cars anyways, because it's just going to be full of contaminants. You're going to have to throw it out, you know, sometime. You're going to take your microfiber towel, start amethyst, and you're going to buff off the remaining product on the panel. Missed some down there, but it's okay. See how, I'm not sure if you guys can pick it up, but it left some marring because it's an aggressive product. But if you rub your hand against it, you virtually don't hear much. If you come over here and rub it, you'll hear it. But if you come over here, you don't hear as much. See the difference? And now it's prepared for polishing. There were so many contaminants on the paint, it actually marred the paint by claying. But sometimes to move forward, you gotta take a couple steps back, and that's why we're taking this process. So it's smooth now, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the root bez, we're gonna take Revive Finishing Polish, we're gonna polish this all out. We're gonna see what it does in one step using the yellow pad. That's a polishing pad. Put a couple like pea-sized drops on the pad. What I like to do to prime the pad, which is really important. I put it on the panel, I put it on speed 1 for about 10-15 seconds to warm up the pad. I want the pad to get like a little bit softer because it'll be really hard and you don't want that in the beginning. So I'm just gonna let it sit for 10 seconds. I mean, you guys can watch, but it's not too interesting. Stop it while it's on the paint. And we're gonna take our paint towel. This is our special edition one. And we're just gonna wipe it off and we're gonna start over again, if that makes sense. Because again, that was just the warm up. So, here we go again. We're gonna put a couple drops. You always wanna make sure your towel is clean, by the way. Your paint towel. If it's not, just grab another one. I'm gonna hang it off the edge a little bit so it doesn't fall. I can't tell you how many times like I left like the towel over here and it fell out because like the wind from the polisher. So we're gonna put Revive on again. I can get it out. Just like that. Speed 1 to kind of warm it up, or to spread it I should say, since we already warmed it. There's just so many different techniques, so it's really what you're comfortable with. Some people like just start with it on. I like to spread it out because I like to prevent splatter. Just take a couple extra seconds so you don't have to, you know, waste it cleaning at the end. And I'm gonna work on speed like 4.5. I like to use typically on this. Then we're gonna use slow arm movement and a little bit of pressure. We're gonna get going. You guys can see the results. Let's go. Make sure to put a little bit of pressure. Make sure the back plate is spinning. While the machine is still on the car, you're going to take your paint towel, again make sure it's clear of debris, and buff it off. It's a lot clearer. Yeah, this is just like a little polish. I'm going to take this off. Little polish because he's selling the car. We're not trying to correct the paint all the way. So this is what it was before. Try and get the light on it. It's gonna be really hard to tell the difference. So you could see in the lights, see how there's a little bit of marring and scratches, little itty bitty scratches. Let me come here. It's not perfect, but it's a whole lot clearer. I mean, you can see the deftness difference. So after the clay bar, you're gonna polish it because you got to get those marks out. And if you do this all of the whole car and then wax it, it's gonna look brand new. Another popular spot where, you know, a lot of things get oxidized is this front trim piece right here, and it's just from the sun coming down and blasting it. So we have a product called SudzBox Shadow. Now you probably will need to reapply this every time you wash your car to make it look the best. It's water-based, so that's why. The water-based gives it the natural look. It's not going to look super greasy. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply it to an applicator pad, and you're just going to work it in. If you get it on the paint or the glass, it's not an issue at all. Now it's going to look kind of shiny at first, but it's going to dry to a nice matte finish. It's like a matte / satin finish. The most important part is to just work it into the pores of the plastic. It's not something you just want to lay on and you're done. That's just not the way it is. You just want to work it in. It's like putting lotion in your skin, but for your plastic trim. And you can use this on your tires. You can use this like on your interior, any plastic, rubber, or vinyl. And you can control the shine just by layering it up. So yeah, look at that huge difference. And you're going to see a little bit of a shininess just because we just applied it, but it's going to dry to a nice. And once it dries, I'm going to record it back so you guys can see the finished result. So this is what it looked like before. It'll come down. And it's looking super natural. That's what's great about the product. That's why water-based products are amazing. Gives you a natural look. So now we're in the engine bay compartment. Using Absolute all-purpose cleaner. Right now I'm going to use this half-half. So half the product and half water. And this is so great because you can just spray it and wipe it. But you're going to want to use your dirtiest towels that you can find. Because obviously you don't want to be using paint towels. So I just have regular microfibers. And it's too simple. So let's say you want to start off, let's say with the valve cover. What you're going to do, spray it. You always want to make sure you look out for electronic areas. So pretty much anything that plugs in, just avoid those. You'll pretty much be fine though. But what you would do is you would just spray. Now I like using this alternative because a lot of people are scared to clean their engine bays. And I have the Colossal brush here to just help sweep up some of that debris. Just easier to get in places like the letters and stuff. You would just come in here, agitate it, because in a sense, when you agitate it with the brush, it's loosening it up from the surface. And once it's loosened, it's good to go into your microfiber. So you gotta think of that situation at all times. You're lifting up the dirt and you're putting it into the microfiber towel. Yeah, is this a tedious thing? Yes, it is, but this is what you got to do to make your car look good. You know, there's just no shortcuts around it. If you want to be absolutely safe, recommend doing this. Yeah, there's going to be spots where you miss, but you can always go back and get in those. So that's like a last part of the process. So we're going to go around and do this. Again, there's a little bit of grease up there and stuff, but we're not worried about that right now. We're going to get that stuff last. We're going to come swing over here on this piece. This piece is really oxidized. Really super oxidized right here. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to hit it with Absolute. Going to take the brush, agitate it. Again, I'm probably going to miss some spots on videos. I'm not really concentrating on getting the whole thing 100%, but take your microfiber towel, take the stuff up that's from the surface. I'm going to grab another microfiber towel, get the left remaining on it, and you're going to notice it's going to be a little bit blacker, but it's not going to be fully black. That's what we're going to use SudzBox Shadow for. Again, SudzBox Shadow was that black product, and we're going to use an applicator pad and This is this product right here. We're gonna put it on it. This will last a long time in your engine bay. I use it in my personal car all the time and it lasts for months. So you see it, it's oxidized again. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put it on the piece and work it in just like the trim. Super important that you work this in. If the trim is so oxidized, it's not gonna help it. You'll need like a dye. But if it's not past that point, you can always just use SudzBox Shadow. And imagine if you use this thing on the whole engine bay, what it's gonna look like. Imagine if I use on that piece, on everything. That's gonna make it look amazing. The best way to do it is to just let it dry, but you can take a microfiber towel and buff it off. Now we're gonna move to another area. We're gonna move to down here so you guys can see this difference. This front part of the grill, underneath the hood, right here. You're gonna spray. Let it dwell for like a couple seconds to break down all that nasty stuff. Take your microfiber towel and get in there. See that? Bam. If you need to flip it over, start hitting the rest of it. If it's tough to get some spots, like in the corners, again, what you're gonna do, you're gonna hit it with the colossal brush. It's gonna loosen that up, and it's gonna basically throw it to the middle to make it easier. Again, you're just gonna go in there with the microfiber and pick it up. That's why we use these tools. We're basically, again, just taking the brush and throwing it to the middle. Throwing all that crud to the middle. Again, if you need to protect it, just use a wax, just use Illuminate over that. So we were letting it dry and I noticed that the oxidation came back. Now, if it's too far, it's too far, unfortunately. You'll either have to repaint it or use some type of black dye. But I'm gonna try one more time with Shadow to layer it again to see if it does anything. That's always easier than repainting it. But if it's too far gone, it's just too far gone. You can't do anything about it. But it would certainly work on different plastic pieces on the car. But this is what you learn as a detailer. Sometimes things work, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm gonna grab a microfiber towel. And I'm going to see if it comes back, which it probably will. Sometimes it just needs a couple of layers. Yes, it looks like it's coming back. So that's totally oxidized. So, you live and you learn. You're gonna have to repaint it pretty much. These pieces, you spray. That as well. It's pretty much best to just use black towels on these because you won't notice all the stains. Work it in. And we're not trying to get perfect results. This is for the weekend warrior. The guys who love their cars but don't want to spend that much time or can't dedicate all their time to making everything perfect in their car. They just want a really good look. Then we're going to take Shadow on the applicator pad and work it in. This is a better example because it's actually working. That piece was just too far gone. I mean, it looks better, but sometimes it's just too far gone. Take your microfiber after that. You're not going to grab the product off. You're just going to lightly buff it off. Just lightly. Now that's back. The battery, because this is a part where most a lot of the dirt is. Get that brush in there. This is where you're going to definitely need the brush. And I'm going to do a little bit of this so you guys can see a difference. Just wipe it off. Yeah, you're gonna have to get down there in those cracks and crevices, but look at that huge difference. Another big area that's always dirty is down here. Super simple. Just spray Absolute. Let it blow again. Take your microfiber. Just pick it up. And boom. Get the rest of the residue out there. Hit this strut bar. I mean, we make it pretty simple for you to clean your engine bay. There's a little bit of rust here, so we're gonna try and avoid that. Oh man, look at that difference. A lot cleaner now. You can even get these pipes. When I say pipes, I mean hose. The hose for you. Spray. Take your microfiber. Want to be super gentle on this. Super gentle. Get the side over here. It's just about being meticulous and, you know, checking your spots, figuring out where you can go, and doing it. It's not meant to be easy. Anything that's easy, you know, it's probably not worth it. Not worth your time. All right, so after all that, it took about 15 minutes and cleaned what I could. There's a little bit of rust in here and stuff, but you guys saw what it looked like before. Huge difference using SudzBox Shadow and Absolute to clean this thing. Not perfect, but oh man, a whole lot better.